Jack's first thought was that the boy was dead. His little body was half covered in dust, his face pale beneath streaks of dirt, a thin trickle of blood at the corner of his mouth. The woman, clutching her wound, noticed Jack's stare and lurched forward with a burst of raw energy. "No," she cried, her voice breaking like glass. She pressed herself between Jack and the child, her arms spread wide, her breath ragged. "You will not take him." Jack raised his hands higher, palms open, feeling the desert air burn against his skin. He hadn't moved toward the boy, but her fear was so fierce it was as if she could see every intention he might have had. "I'm not taking him," Jack said softly. "I swear. But he needs help. You both do." Her chest rose and fell in uneven bursts. Sweat glistened against her temples, mixing with the blood soaking her sleeve. Jack could see the way her knees trembled, as though she was one heartbeat away from collapsing. She spat into the dirt. "Help. Your people's help kills." Her voice shook but carried an echo of something much larger than herself, generations of pain, betrayal, loss. "We asked for peace. You gave bullets. We asked for land. You gave graves." Jack stood still. He had no defense, no easy words to erase the truth in what she said. His own father had fought in the wars against her people, and Jack had inherited both the land and the silence that came with it. "I can't change what was done," he said finally, his throat dry. "But right now, I see a mother and her child dying in front of me. That's all I see. Please, let me try." Her lips quivered. She glanced down at the boy, then back up at Jack. Her eyes, black as obsidian, searched his face as though trying to dig through his skin to the soul beneath. The child stirred faintly then, letting out a shallow cough that sprayed a bit of blood onto the dirt. The sound shattered something inside Jack. It was the same sound his daughter had once made when pneumonia nearly took her at 3 years old. He remembered sitting by her bed, praying for her small chest to rise again. That memory, the terror of nearly losing her, pushed him forward. He took one cautious step. The woman raised her knife again, her grip trembling. Jack stopped, his voice lowering to a near whisper. "You're right to fear me. But if I wanted harm, it'd be done already. I just can't watch a child slip away when I might save him." The woman's arm shook violently, her strength failing. For a long, agonizing moment, it was unclear which way she'd break. Then, with a sob, her knees buckled and the knife fell from her hand into the dirt. Jack caught her before she hit the ground. She flinched hard at his touch, whispering, don't touch me," even as her body sagged against him. "I'll only carry you," he murmured. "That's all." He scooped her light frame into one arm and the boy into the other. Their combined weight felt like more than the cattle he wrangled every week. It was the weight of 2 lives balanced against time, fear, and trust. He staggered toward his horse, praying the mare could carry them all. The desert was silent except for the ragged breaths of the woman and her child, and the steady beat of Jack's own heart hammering in his ears. The house was quiet, save for the faint creak of the wooden floorboards as Anna moved swiftly down the hallway. Jack stood outside the bedroom door, his hat clutched against his chest, listening to his wife work over the child. The Apache woman, weak from blood loss, sat in a chair by the wall, her eyes fixed on the crack of light beneath the door. Neither of them spoke for what felt like hours. The silence was heavy, so heavy that even the ticking of the clock on the mantel felt like thunder in Jack's ears. Every second dragged, and every second, he thought of the child's shallow breaths. Finally, the door creaked open. Anna stepped out, her face pale and tired, but her eyes carrying the quiet determination Jack had fallen in love with years ago. She had always been the steady one, the anchor when his temper or his doubts got the better of him. "He'll live," Anna said. Her voice was calm, but there was a tremor underneath. "But he needs rest. And her too." The Apache woman looked up sharply. "He lives." Her English was broken, but the meaning was clear. Anna nodded, crouching down to meet her gaze. Yes. He's strong. Stronger than I expected. She hesitated, then added softly, like his mother. The woman's lips parted, but no words came. Instead, tears welled in her eyes, spilling down her dusty cheeks. She turned her face away quickly, as if ashamed to show weakness before strangers. Jack shifted uncomfortably. He wasn't a man used to tenderness. His world had been made of dust, cattle, sweat, and silence. But something about this woman's tears struck him deeper than he could explain. Maybe it was because, in that moment, she wasn't Apache and he wasn't a rancher. She was just a mother. Anna touched the woman's arm gently, but the woman flinched at the contact. Anna withdrew her hand without offense, only offering a small nod of understanding. "You need food," Anna said. "And clean bandages. Stay here tonight. You're safe." The woman's eyes flicked to Jack, mistrust flaring again, but she said nothing. Instead, she nodded once, slowly, as if giving permission rather than acceptance. Jack exhaled quietly, realizing he had been holding his breath. The days that followed were not easy. The woman, whose name, they learned, was Ayoka, spoke little. She watched everything, the way Anna tended her son, the way Jack carried water from the well, the way their daughter skipped through the yard chasing chickens. She watched and waited, as if trying to decide whether kindness was real or just another mask hiding cruelty. Her son, Tahoma, healed quickly under Anna's care. He was quiet, too, quieter than most children his age, but his dark eyes followed Jack with a mixture of curiosity and wariness. One evening, as the desert sky bled into shades of violet and gold, Jack sat on the porch whittling a piece of wood. He could feel Ayoka's presence nearby, though she said nothing. At last, her voice broke the silence, low and rough, as if each word carried a burden. "Why, help us?" Jack paused mid-cut, the blade hovering over the wood. He considered his answer carefully. "Because once, my little girl was dying. And if someone hadn't helped us, if Anna hadn't sat up all night by her side, we'd have lost her. No parent should face that alone. Not even one who's been told he's supposed to be my enemy." Ayoko was silent for a long time. Then she said, "Enemy is what white men call us. Not what mothers call their children." Jack looked at her then, really looked. Not as Apache, not as stranger, but as a woman who had fought tooth and nail to keep her boy alive. For the first time, he saw the weariness lift from her face, just slightly, revealing the raw humanity beneath. It was that night, while Tahoma slept peacefully beside their daughter, that Ayoko whispered the words Jack would never forget. She touched his arm, her hand trembling but deliberate. "You did not steal. You gave." Jack's throat tightened. He had no reply, no grand speech. All he could do was nod, blinking against the sting in his eyes. For once, there was no line between rancher and Apache, between white and native, between past and present. There were only two families, sharing the same firelight, bound by the simplest truth: kindness saves.